It is my proud privilege to share the stage with Sundaram and listen to him. The theme of this conference, this talk is Rohit Mehta sharing some reminiscences. Rohit Mehta, as you all know, that he was a great philosophist. And well known for his work as an educator, as a lecturer, as a writer, and as a social activist. And he was the former General Secretary before independence, and before that he was the Recording Secretary. Understand that? Then our guest speaker today, most respected Sundaram, who needs no introduction, separate introduction to him. His name itself speaks itself, everything. However, for the sake of completeness of the program, for the session, it is my duty to say something from his profile about his life and some of his important works. I read a few lines from his profile. Brother Sundaram was born and brought up in this very campus of Indian section of the Philosophical Society, Varanasi, in 1939. He was educated at Crescent School, the Crescent Philosophical School, Varanasi University, and the Mahatma Gandhi Krishi Vidyapith, and he did his master's in sociology. He was in the Gandhian Institute of Studies, Varanasi, a renowned research institute of social sciences. He was associated with several research projects such as Gramdan Nirman, Decoding Problem in Chambal Valley, role of Sarvodaya workers to bring about peace in Chambal area, social and economic change in rural areas. He has done research projects completed related to weaker sections, role of bureaucracy in a developing society, etc. He was the assistant editor of a research journal entitled Interdiscipline, and later was the executive editor of a research journal entitled Gandhian Perspectives. He has authored books namely The Vote and Violence, Emerging Horizon Alive. He was the co-editor of books entitled Gandhi, 125 Years and Gandhi and the World Order. He has been actively interested in philosophical activities since 2000 days and was the Secretary of Philosophical Laws Kasi Tattva Sabha at Varanasi for 10 years and became the President of the same law for 3 years. He was Assistant Editor of the Indian Philosophy from August 1993 to 2003 and the editor of the same journal in 2016. On international platforms, he delivered a talk at the Triennial Conference of PS in Manila, Philippines, His subject being the role of philosophy in social transformation. He gave a talk on love and service, the twin stars of brotherhood, during the 10th World Philosophy Congress held in Rome in July 2010 and in Bali in 2013 on practicing philosophy, knowing and being. While working at the Gandhian Institute of Studies, he came in close contact of the leaders such as Sri Sundaram and Sri Achyut Patwardhan. Besides, he had the opportunity to work under the Indian social scientists like Professor Subhadra Dasgupta and Professor Aman Datta. To speak of his hobbies and interests, music, sports in general, and cricket in particular, and reading good literature. To conclude, he said that the deep interest in music and sports has helped him immensely in seeing life in its myriad hues. From direct perspective, as also learning to accept and respond harmoniously to life's manifold situations, taking them not as challenges but as God-given opportunities towards self-betterment. With these few words, I invite our respected guest speaker, after.
Mr. Rohit Mehta was popularly known in this campus as Rohit Ji, and he was an active leader of the Students' Union while studying in a college at Ahmedabad, where he came in contact with his principal over the question of the boycott of the Simon Commission. And because of his deep involvement in an agitation, he was rusticated from the college. One point which has not been mentioned on the third and fourth cover page of his books are that when Gandhiji took up this case and discussed with the principal of the college, the principal then laid out the condition that if the boy fails in the examination, we will not give him another chance. But when the results were declared, Rohit ji passed his exams with flying colors. Now those were the days when serious, sincere and responsible students mostly used to think and work in the context of the welfare of the nation and society in general. So on the demands of students, when he led another strike, he was expelled from the college. And at that time, Gandhiji was in Bombay. So he called him to Bombay and said that your principal doesn't want you anymore. They discussed the matter at length. And then Gandhiji said, why are you so keen in continuing with this system of education? I have a plan for which I need young people like you. And this conversation with Gandhi was a turning point in Mr. Rohit Mehta's life. As he mentioned in his talk when he was invited by the Lions Club of Varanasi to speak on Mahatma Gandhi's 113th birth anniversary, Rohit said, then I learned many more things from the University of Life than what I would have got within the four walls of the university. After a few days, to Jayaprakash Narayan, who had returned to India after completing his studies in USA. And when the Congress Socialist Group was formed in 1934, Rohit ji was one of its founding members and was entrusted with the major responsibility of the party in Gujarat region. He actively participated in the freedom struggle and was imprisoned for 5 successive terms. When he was in jail of Ahmednagar in Maharashtra, he suffered from a severe paralytic stroke and was not willing to be taken out of the jail for his treatment. But somehow, Gandhiji managed to persuade him, and arrangements were made for Rohit in a hospital of Bombay, where he remained bedridden for complete 8 months and ultimately got cured because of J. Krishnamurti's healing touch. And as it has been mentioned in his book, his total involvement in politics as one of the foremost leaders of socialist movement led him to realize the soullessness of political practice. And in his search for freedom, he joined the Theosophical Society. He joined TS when Dr. George S. Arundel was the international president of the society. After some days, Rohit ji and his wife, Sridevi Mehta ji, they both went to the international headquarters of TS to work there and were provided accommodation on the first floor of Bhojanpala in Adyar. Rohit ji was entrusted with more than one responsibility there. And after some years, few years, seeing his enthusiasm and the way he was dealing with various responsibilities, he was elected as International Recording Secretary of the Society from 1941 to 1944. In December 1944, he was elected as the General Secretary of the Indian section and got re-elected to the same post on 4 more occasions after every 3 years. When he came here as General Secretary of the section, one of the things within a few days which he did was, he went to meet the then Vice Chancellor of Varanasi University, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. And then he met some distinguished citizens, scholars and educationists of the town and arranged their meetings and talks here in our campus from time to time. Apart from that, he met the prominent artists like Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Bismillah Khan, Pandit Omkarnath Thakur, Pandit Kishan Maharaj and few others, and had their programs as well in our hall, which was named as Any Besant Hall on 1st October 1947 on the occasion of 101st birthday of Dr. Besant, and that bust was also inaugurated on that day. One thing, apart from the works of the society, which he did in this campus was that improving the very important thing to promote community life among the members and the workers of the society. And in this context, he organized Holi dinner, Deepavali dinner, sports and community singing, in which the members, workers, teachers and students living in the hostels, both boys and girls, and in Basanta College, students and the theosophical school students. They all actively participate. The community singing was then held on every Saturday from 8 to 9 p.m. under the guidance of Srimati Sridevi Mehta and Mr. M.K. Samant, a music lover having great command over Sanskrit and English, and because of whom we learn Sanskrit chants and songs of various languages. And in this connection, I would like to inform you all that even now when the old students of my generation come here, they go to our Indian bookshop in search of that Geet Mandir. Actually speaking, all these activities play a vital role in promoting the feeling and spirit of unity, harmony and brotherhood among the students, teachers and the workers of the TS. Now regarding the three objects of the Theosophical Society, Rohit believed that in them we had a vision of the new civilization, of the new mind and the new individual. They provide us the direction in which to move in the coming century of the Theosophical Society. And in this context, he categorically stated the Theosophical Societies among those very few organizations that have laid emphasis on the spirit of brotherhood and not merely on structure and patterns of a new order of human society. Then he added, every human society has two fundamental constituents, the structure and the pattern. The structure must serve as the instrument to express the urge of the spirit. So the spirit is fundamental, the structure being only the tabernacle for the expressional requirements of the spirit. Now I have to experience and perceive truth myself, and then only my consciousness automatically will transform. Mere repeating the words of Buddha and Gandhi about what they said will not help in ending the violence which is there in me. Man's inner development and discovery of truth is possible only if one does not cling to the ideas expressed by the great ones. We should try to understand what others said and experienced. But our mind, our wisdom and our thinking capacity must encourage us to proceed in search of that truth. Direct experience of ideas expressed by the great ones is necessary for enlightenment, and then only there will be natural and spontaneous change in one's conscience, and then only we will be able to proceed towards brotherhood. Every moment, so far as progress and development is concerned, they are continuous ongoing process. It can't be imposed. It gets momentum only when people participate in it with conscious, alert and awakened mind. It gets strength and momentum only when it operates from the base. Committed and dedicated participation of the members in the movement and its activities is not possible unless a collective strength is generated and developed among them. So a significant question arises as to how far have we understandingly followed the objects of the Theosophical Society, and in this context, what has been our contribution in promoting the ideas and work of the TS. we will have to seriously consider and implement. And in this connection, I found that Rohit quite often repeated a few points. Actually speaking, he was not repeating it. He was emphasizing on those points in order to spread and convey the message of theosophy and also for improving the work for which the Theosophical Society was founded. And in this context, I would like to mention a few points in Rohit's own words. Conditions in the world are changing so rapidly that unless we refresh ourselves with regard to our theosophical understanding with reference to world events, it is not possible for us to do much effective theosophical work. So he suggested that apart from the teachings of various religions, we must understandingly study the subjects related to other disciplines as well. And according to him, it is very necessary in order to bring larger and larger number of people towards theosophical idealism, especially if we want to attract youth of India towards theosophical view of life. Seeing the then prevailing situation of the country and society in general in view, he later on also mentioned it during different years that the task is tough, but the present is the most opportune time for spread of the message of theosophy. The other significant point which he often mentioned was about the lack of workers. And in this context, he used to quote Saint Matthew's saying that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are too few. And in this regard, he pointed out, in our work, while the structure of our activities does matter, but worker is the most principal factor in the work. It is he who brings spirit which will either strengthen or weaken the quality of the work. The quality of the work depends upon the inner life of the worker. Then he suggested that intensive systematic training should be provided in order to have lecturers, organizers, group leaders and administrators for our work. Besides, we have to employ more and more discussion techniques in our lodges. Then he was of the view that the section will help in whatever way it can. But such training facilities have keeping the distance and language difficulties in view. Such training facilities have to be organized at the federation level. And the concluding observation in the context of worker was, let each member find out what he can give, his time, his abilities, his resources. And in this context, I am reminded of saying of Tagore, Surya Mehta, after providing energy and light to one part of the globe, was slowly moving to do the same work for the other part of the earth. And then Tagore says, who will take up my work? Ask the setting sun. Who will take up my work? Ask the setting sun. And none had an answer. The whole world remained silent. Then a small earthen lamp said humbly from a corner, I will, my Lord, as best as I can. So if many such small lamps are prepared to take up responsibility voluntarily, even if the intensity of light provided by them is not as strong as provided by the sun, at least some light will be there. So if each member, according to his own capacity, takes up some responsibility of the theosophical work, the work is sure to move in the positive direction. And let this be without reservation. It is the generous offering of each member that we shall be able to raise a superstructure, fine and majestic, where the human individual grows in absolute freedom, unfolding the divine potentialities which are in him. Rohit firmly believed that the work of the organization like Theosophical Society cannot and should not be judged in terms of number of members. In other words, it should not be evaluated in terms of quantitative measurement or numerical strength. And in this regard, he specified that all such movements as Theosophical Society have been minority movements. In other words, only a small group of people were engaged in such noble missions. And the well-known historian Arnold Toynbee classified them as creative minority, providing new strength and vitality for the spiritual regeneration of humanity. A vitalizing touch, living truth is a vitalizing touch of living truth and experience, which is possible only at the individual level. Although such an individual becomes a nucleus for fundamental transformation at the collective level. And so, in the ultimate analysis, the strength of the Theosophical Society is to be judged by the quality of the living of its individual members. We must seek our strength more and more in the quality rather than in mere quantity, for thus alone shall we be enabled to play an effective role as creative minority in building up of a new order of human civilization. Very often people ask, and they want to know, what is the practical work that the Theosophical Society is doing? Regarding this question, Rohit clarified that people generally think that practical work implies conducting institutions for social, economic and educational welfare of the people. Practical work seems to be associated with tangible results. Those who do not produce such results are regarded as impractical people. Now, Theosophical Society in India have been conducting many educational and charitable institutions in this country. And so, even by institutional standards, Theosophists need not be declared as impractical people. But he pointed out towards one very significant fact. Some institutions have done admirable work, and yet they have left something untouched, which apparently has created strange paradox in our age, that of increasing unhappiness in the midst of increasing comfort. This something which has been ignored is the human mind. For mind is most fundamental in whole problem of human happiness. There has to be a transformation of the human mind if humanity is to know what real happiness is. A nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity cannot be formed unless and until those who comprise such nucleus have come to the experience of a new functioning possibility of the mind. To this regard, as non-practical, is to give a very narrow meaning to the term practical work. The second and third objects of the Theosophical Society indicate to us the lines along which we can move so as to come to the experience of new functioning level of the human mind. The Theosophical Society is engaged in an intensely practical work in as much as it is concerned with the theosophic transformation of the human mind, which alone can pour right content into the social, economic and educational institutions. And now he says that the success of the lodge depends on the one hand, on the awareness of the needs of the people, and on the other, upon the ability to draw inspiration and guidance from the theosophical philosophy so as to meet the needs and requirements of the people. Men and women everywhere are today caught in the psychological problems of great complexity, resulting in frustration and unhappy relationships. This obviously is the fundamental problem of the people today. It is in this context that the theosophical knowledge has to consider the question of conveying effectively the message of theosophy. What guidance can theosophy give us today to help our fellow beings and ourselves to resolve the psychological complexities? Very often, our lodge workers, according to Rohit, are concerned with the question of how to attract more people to our lodges. Why the question of attracting more people is certainly there. It is not so serious as the retaining of those who have come to our lodges. How to sustain the interest of those who have come to our lodges of the Theosophical Society, that indeed is a question to which our lodge workers must seriously turn. An answer to this question will depend upon the awareness of the problem of the people and upon our understanding of theosophy. We have to realize that while the truth is the same, changeless and eternal, it has to be uttered in a language that is easily understandable by the people of a particular people. And needless to say, that language is not meant to use the particular words, but the emotional and mental context of people's lives, which after all is the source of every true and vital language. The present age may not be able to understand a language which was understood by people some years ago. So we will have to evolve a new language depending upon the experience of the workers. Because workers' direct contact with the truth, with the problem of the people, the language which will evolve because of those two significant factors, that will be effective in conveying the message of the organization. So because of lack of time, I will not go into other details. We will be able to use this significant movement to great advantage if we are able to indicate through our speeches and writings, and above all else through examples of our lives, that theosophy is a philosophy which enables us to break up many psychological tangles of our lives. In other words, if we can link up theosophy with day-to-day problems of man, we will be able to turn many people away from ideologies having no purpose and which are inadequate to meet the requirements of the people. As it has been said, the Theosophical Order of Service offers a forum for theosophy in action. And in this context, Rohit ji said, study and service are two wings by which we can fly. And so both these aspects should be strengthened. He was of the opinion that an active theosophical order of service will bring greater strength to our society in India. We have many students in TS, but we have very few active philanthropists. In other words, people engaged in spiritual liberation have to be equally concerned regarding social ethics and social responsibilities. And as he mentioned, we must put more vigorous effort into this activity so that the theosophical order of service becomes a powerful movement of national service in this country. Thus, according to Mr. Rohit Mehta, we have threefold nature of work before us: popularizing and conveying the message of theosophy among the people, strengthening our knowledge and training of our workers with a view to make them more efficient instruments for the work of the teams. And then transforming our truths into acts of service, particularly in the fields of education, culture, and social life of the people. In the very beginning of my talk, I mentioned that Rohit was a very eloquent speaker, a powerful orator, with great command over language and deep knowledge of various subjects. In this context, because of lack of time, I would like to give only one example. There are many. During his second visit to Africa, for the first time he visited Africa between March and first week of June in 1951, when I was a student of 7th class and then went to the plus. His second visit to that continent was in 1959, between April and June. And during his second visit, his lectures, his talks, his study camps, his discussions and dialogues were very well publicized. So a club known as Saturday Club, one evening they invited Rohit and his wife Sridevi for dinner. When they both reached there, the president and the members of the club welcomed them. And while talking to Rohit, the president of the club asked him, "Sir, what is the subject of your talk which you are going to deliver here before my dinner?" Rohit informed that I even invited for dinner and he is asking what the subject of the talk. But without showing any sign of surprise, Rohit asked him, "Why is it known as Saturday Club?" And was told that all the members of the club work hard at their respective places from Monday to Saturday during all every week. And Sunday being holiday, we assemble here in the evening, in which such programs are also organized, and the purpose is to relax. Then Rohit said, the subject of my talk is from Saturday to Sunday. And during the course of his talk, he beautifully explained that what actually the word work means. And if one is genuinely applying his mental and physical effort and energy to the motto, objects, and the purpose of that noble mission, then even while doing that work, even while sincerely performing his duty, the person will feel relaxed. I will give you one more example. In summer 1965, a seminar on a subject related to education was organized here in Kashi Vidyapith. And that was to be inaugurated by the then education minister. But on the previous evening, a message was received that due to some urgent work, the minister will not be able to attend the seminar. Then two professors from Vidyapith came here at night, and our watchman escorted them to Shantipur, where Rohit was living during those days. The two professors explained the situation to him and gave him the letter of the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor had mentioned in his letter after explaining the situation, under the prevailing circumstances, I could not think and imagine of any other person to do that responsible job. And as this seminar was to start at 7, due to hot weather, at 7 o'clock in the morning. And Rohit, after listening to the English news of All India Radio every day, he used to go to sleep. So he said, all right, I will let come. And some participants and invitees of the seminar heard him for the first time, and later on they too invited him to their centers. The same thing happened during the Science Congress in Varanasi University in 1980s, when a scholar